Hi, my people, it is I, your favorite crazy lady, and this is episode 2 of the, my Unforeseen Life series. Please go watch the introduction, and 1, I'm not going to be recapping. In this episode, I want to talk about, how I became disabled in the first place, and how I ended up in Texas. Because being in Texas is one of the biggest reasons why I'm in the situation I'm in right now. Medical care for people who are on disability is completely different for Texas, because Texas is Texas and thinks they can do whatever the fuck they want to do and no regard for, their people. So, how did I become disabled? I've been sick the majority of my life. I've been abused the majority of my life. I did not expect to live to be 18. If you've watched the videos before, you know why. So when I hit 18, I finally felt like I could start living my life. And I have a lot of people that are be like, I can't believe that you did all of those jobs, that you did all of these things. And some of them overlap each other. And I tell them, it's because I didn't expect to live. So when I did, I wanted to live. If I was doing something that made me unhappy, or I saw something that I thought I could do, I went for it. And I enjoyed every single thing that I ever did. Now, as far as the abuse and being sick and all of the other things, I'm Gen X. We were not taught that that was trauma. We were not taught that that was abuse. We were taught that those are things that happened. Suck it up, buttercup, move on, be better for it. Which I don't still necessarily think is a bad thing. I think we need to understand their trauma. That's a different video. I realized I was getting sick again towards the middle-ish part of being in my 20s, on the upside of 30, when I had the police called on me at the grocery store. Long story short, got off work, needed to go get cat food. I left my car running, was going to run in, run out real quick. Did not think it was a big deal back then. Honestly, I shouldn't have done it, but it really wasn't a big deal back then. The police showed up and asked me if I was okay. And I'm like, yeah, what's your problem? You've been standing in the same spot for 10 minutes. They got concerned. They called us. He took me in, showed me the camera footage, because I knew a lot of the police officers. And he's like, are you okay? And I'm like, I don't know. And I explained to him that I have a seizure disorder and that I haven't had this problem since I was a kid. And he's like, I'm going to contact your brother and let him know what's going on. Like, awesome. I saw some doctors, got misdiagnosed with some stuff. Saw a doctor for less than 3 minutes. He misdiagnosed me as paranoid schizophrenic because of the incident that happened at the grocery store. I still don't see where they correlate together. I saw a different doctor. He's like, no, that's not what that is. I ended up leaving my chef's job, not because of the incident that happened, nor because of being sick, but because of instances that were happening at the job. Being the seizure part just kind of piled on top of it. But there were other things going on. We can talk about that later. It's not what this is about. I ended up leaving that job and went back home to my mom and dad's house and sought medical help for what was going on. Found out that I now have 2 different types of seizures, and I had severe PTSD and anxiety disorder. So that is what I became disabled on, were those things. It took me almost a total of 3.5 years to get my disability. After I got on my disability and other things happened, I met my ex-wife. We were legally married, been married twice, once to a man and once to a woman, both completely abusive. Did not realize that my ex-wife was abusive until more recently. Because Gen Xer, we don't realize that shit's abuse. We don't think that stuff, is trauma. It's just stuff you go through. And you're better off for going through it and you move on. And that's what I did. While her and I were together, my parents gave me our home. They told me as long as I paid it off, it was my house. It was a duplex that my dad and I built. Built it with our own 2 hands. And we became victims of hate crime. It got to the point that they killed our therapy animals that were in our therapy program. They harassed my service dog to the point he could no longer be used as a service animal. They cut off our electricity. At the very end, they set our house on fire and tried to kill us in the house. My ex-wife, myself, and 2 of her kids. When they set the house on fire and cut our lines so that we could not call the fire department, which was a volunteer fire department, we knew we were absolutely not safe anymore. So we decided to take the property that we had bought as an investment. We had bought 150 acres outside of El Paso, Texas. And we were going to use this as a vacation someday property out in the middle of nowhere. We had decided at that point in time we were going to move to Texas, and we were going to move here. We did a lot of looking into El Paso and found out that El Paso was one of the most progressive cities in Texas, one of the most accepting, and we felt like it was a safe space. And to be honest, it was. It was a lot safer, and is a lot safer than being back in Iowa. Biggest drawback about being in Texas is because of the fact that I am on disability and I'm on Medicare due to my disability. I'm also on Medicaid, which makes me MQMB, medically qualified medical benefits, according to Texas, which means the Medicaid that I have that is supposed to pick up everything that Medicare doesn't cover, doesn't work that way for me. I do not have traditional Medicaid. My Medicaid is extremely limited. They restrict the doctors I can see, they restrict how often I can see them, and they restrict the benefits that I get, including the equipment that I can have to help mitigate my disability. And that's important. That's the importance of the next part of this saga. So that's how we got to this point. We're going to get into what happened next, getting into the incident in the next the next video. So come back for that. And like I always say, I hope we see each other again soon. Take care of yourself, and come back. Share this. Comment.